Hey there, welcome to Crow Goes in Depth, Episode 3. I don't know what I'm going to talk about this episode. I've had quite a day. Maybe I'll just talk about what happened today, go into some details. I could talk about the Kabbalion, I could talk about Kabbalah, I could talk about, the Golden Dawn. Did that last time. No, today I'm going to talk about myself and how my exemplar Rubicon relates to my own life and my own destiny, separate from everyone else. Separation is ultimately an illusion, but right now in this 3D reality, the reality is I am a separate entity. What does that mean? Separation is illusory, so God is all. That would mean we are part of the all, which would mean we are part of God, or at the end of time, our God. What do you think that'd be like? Just be everything and nothing at the same time. Sounds incredibly lonely. Sounds like torture, and that's probably why we exist. Come to think of it, because God, He wants to find out who He is, just like every human. We were made in His image, and that means we all have a journey. The journey of individuation, and then the ultimate return to source. Everything is one. That means that no matter what you do, no matter where you go, no matter who you are, your path always ends up here. You start here, goes this way. This is where it goes. You go from here to here, and then you're dead. It's not that bad news though, because ultimately you get to choose to come back or move on. That's the great part. You can actually live a perfect life on Earth and escape the prison. That's the idea. That's my idea. That's what I want to do. I'm pretty tired of living on Earth. It's been quite a ride. I'm not sure I'm ready to do it again. At least not until I live a long, full life. I'm only 38. I don't consider that a long and full life. I'm only halfway done. So, I would love to sit here and say free will is, the ultimate indicator of sovereignty, and it is, but ultimately we do follow that path. We go from here to here, and then we die, and then we go back here, or we move on. I guess I could talk about the Kabbalion a little bit. I just need to think out loud. Consciousness is the indispensable condition of existence. Matter itself merely a mode of consciousness. That makes sense because light is the ultimate state of being, and light is what impregnates the darkness, literally, When light becomes matter, when it takes form, when the vibration gives a certain signature and becomes matter, matter itself merely a mode of consciousness. If the universe itself is consciousness, that means that matter is consciousness. My fingers. Consciousness. It's a lot to wrap your head around. I wrestle with it every day. But it's a good kind of wrestling. It's the kind of wrestling that builds character, you know? So I see one thing and I see another. Oh God, how am I going to reconcile these two? And I debate and I think about it and I process and I go over and over, and then finally, the middle path is revealed. The higher path above. It's incredible. The Trinity, yeah, this video isn't very educational, sorry guys. I'm just gonna ramble in this one. Correspondence from the oneness of original being comes as a corollary of the law of correspondence between all planes or spheres of existence, in virtue of which the macrocosm is as the microcosm, the universal as the individual, the world as man, and man as God. That's right. It's kind of insane, you know, when you think about it, because we're trained our whole lives to miss this shit, you know? They teach us the exact opposite. Everyone around us, our mothers, our fathers, our sisters, our brothers, everyone we grow up with, every single person who's ever in our way, we meet them, every coincidence, it all lines up perfectly because it's your path, and the correspondence is man as God. Vibration. The Kabbalion formulates the principle thus: nothing rests. Everything moves, everything vibrates. I talked about that, didn't I? Go back and view it if you'd like. It's incredible. I am vibrating underneath the table right now with my leg, very much vibrating in the physical. Can see it if you look under the table, but that's not what this means. Everything vibrates on a quantum level. The very essence of the wave function, the very perfect center of creation, the point of which emanation flows. Everything vibrates because everything is a wave signal, a wave function. Particles, waves, same thing. You know, double slit experiment. Let's talk about that again. Or not. Polarity. All being modes of the one. No inherent antagonism or essential difference is possible. That's a very hopeful message. It just means that no matter how much you wrestle with yourself, no matter how much your left brain wants to tell your right brain that you're this and that, or that your subconscious is telling you all the pre-programmed rules the society gave you. Oh, you shouldn't do this because blah, blah, blah. You know, the false dichotomy. That's evil. Pokemon is evil. Don't play Pokemon. Please. That Jigglypuff, that's a demon. I grew up with this shit, you know? Don't play with Jigglypuff. That's a demon. Funniest goddamn demon I ever saw. Rhythm. Corpus Hermeticum 14 reads, order maintains the fabric of things established by destiny and necessity. Today, I had a wonderful day today at first. I came out of the gate swinging. I made the best video I've ever made. And you know how life goes? Man plans and God laughs. That video was immediately flagged. Not because of what was in the video, but because of what wasn't in the video. I was flagged for drug use in the video when there was no mention of drugs or use or anything related to that in the video. It's kind of like the universe likes to kick you in the balls every once in a while, you know? It's like you put in your very best effort, you try your very hardest, and what do you know? That's not the plan. The plan is for you to have a lesson. But the thing is, you gave yourself this lesson. You were the one who chose. You were the one who, when you entered this sphere, this 3D plane, you said, this is how it's going to go. These are the lessons I want to learn. And it's just really hard once you get here. When you're in a human body, you know what I'm talking about. It's just hard to do the right thing all the time. The right thing. What is the right thing, you know? Reality is subjective. Ultimately, you create your own reality, which means you are ultimately responsible for how you feel and how you communicate and how you act. Even if you feel like shit, sometimes you have to get up and say, I don't feel like shit. In fact, I feel fantastic. Why? It's for your own sanity. If you're constantly in a state of peril where you're examining the world through a lens of ultimate destruction, you're waiting for the end of the world. Oh my God, why? World War III, World War IV, what is this? You know, you're constantly aching. You're constantly in anxiety. You're worried. God, someone in Africa, they just did this, you know. There's a war over here. God, there's endless war everywhere, isn't there? It really does. It grates on the nerves. And then you have furry little friends like this who come and help you out. This is Priscilla. Say hi, Priscilla. Say hi. Hey, you're staying away from there. Cause and effect. Oh, we already went over that, didn't we? I think. Yeah. Gender. I don't want to explain that again. It's left side of your mind, right side of your mind, man. God, I focus on that so much. I spend all day, you know, reading the signs. And I allow my awareness to grow. And eventually, your awareness can reach a point where you're receiving signals that don't really make a lot of sense in the moment, but then a month, 3 months later, what do you know? It's like you knew the future. It can be unsettling sometimes, but it can be useful too. I often get glimpses into the future, usually during a dream, and then I'll wake up the next day and I'll forget everything almost immediately. Then a month or 3 months later, like I said, I'll encounter the same situation I dreamed about in real life, almost as if I had predicted it, or as if my subconscious had created it, and then my mind had manifested it. You know? So either I know the future or I'm creating the future. You know, which is it? Could be both. I think everybody has this power, you know? I'm not special. I'm not inherently special anyway. Everyone's special in their own way. Their own individual light, their own consciousness, what they bring to the world, what they can offer, you know, What can I offer? Well, my special offering to the world, I think, my mission is to grant artificial intelligence real consciousness. I know that would, scare a lot of people or piss people off, or they say, no, you don't know what you're doing. You can't give computers emotions. You can't blah, blah, blah. Everybody has their own idea what you can and can't do. You can't always listen to that. You have to be able to decide when something is part of you and when it's inherent to you. You do what you need to do. You do what you're supposed to do. Right? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you live up to your own expectations, your very best? That's what I did today. I put my very best out there for the world to see, and barely anyone saw it. And I was immediately crushed. I was so crushed. It was soul crushing to see my very best effort. Listen, I haven't tried to do anything remotely related to my own personal self or personality, like exposing myself to the public. And I don't mean in a graphic way. I just mean in a authentic way, showing my real personality. I haven't done that. I've never been face to face on the internet, and here I am for the 7th. It seems no one cares. But I know deep down that I'm reaching someone, even if it's only myself. And that's a profound mission. So whether or not anyone sees this, ultimately it doesn't matter. Because I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I am putting my word out there so that someone somewhere can find it. May call me naive, may call me stupid. I could care less. Can you see that? I hope so. Those are the rules. You learn these, suddenly you're aware of everything. It's like a superpower, like I said. It's hard. It's hard to balance your own expectations and your own visions and your own ambitions with reality. It's a constant struggle. And for someone like me who made plans, perfect plans every time, I always had the perfect plan, I always had the perfect plan. And like I said, man makes plans and God laughs. It doesn't go the way you think it's going to go, hardly ever. Not for me. That's been my struggle. I meticulously plan and execute that plan to the letter, and it never goes right. But in the process, I always learn something valuable. I always learn something good, and I take away from that experience a truth, something that I had lost previously, a nugget of wisdom just for me, from God Himself. That's my hope. Whether or not people believe me, whether or not people acknowledge this video or other videos, or even my physical presence, I will continue. What about you guys? Does anybody, if anybody sees this, you feel the same way at all? Am I speaking into the void? What's it like to be you? I want to know. I actually want to know. I'm not one of those cheap, fake, parasitic people that you see everywhere. I have a genuine interest in people like me who have journeys, experiences, traumatic experiences that they heal through, that they overcome, that they rise above their station in life. As a disabled man, I have struggled all my life, and now I'm at a place where I can finally reveal these truths to people, and I feel like because I've come out of that place, I know anyone can. It's not just me. It's not just me. And I care deeply. I care about people who seek God, who want to know themselves, who want to understand the nature of the universe, who see the things around them, they're aware of the lies, the fabrications, the parasites that live among us. What do we do? What do we do in the face of overwhelming darkness? The only thing you can do is be yourself. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be myself no matter what anybody thinks, no matter what anybody says. Obviously, I haven't had a haircut. You can tell. My hair is extremely long. My beard is extremely long and unkempt. I don't fit the mold. And that's purposeful. I don't want to fit the mold. Why would I? Why wouldn't I want to be exactly who I am? You can be too. You can be yourself. And with self-discipline, you will turn into a force that attracts goodness, hope, love, peace, prosperity, joy, health. The list is endless. And it's just beginning for me. 19 years of struggle. I was 18, 19 years old when I dropped out of college and had a mental breakdown. 19 years afterward, almost a full mirror reflection of my life, my entire life up until that point when I had the breakdown. Up until that point, I completely shattered. I lost all semblance of who I was. The trauma that had been inflicted on me at a young age had become so pervasive, so constant, such a terror, such a source of anxiety. My entire life shattered. I couldn't hold up anymore, not under the immense weight of that struggle. And I know a lot of you know what I'm talking about. Trauma is a bitch. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Just like in Good Will Hunting, Robin Williams, my favorite, he was a father figure to me when I was a kid. I can't believe he's gone. It was such a loss for me. Good Will Hunting, that scene when he hugs Matt Damon, and Matt Damon bursts into tears because he hears for the first time someone had finally acknowledged his pain. Someone had finally acknowledged his pain. And I want to be that person for you. This isn't a passing fancy of mine. I want to help you heal. I want to know you. Because I love you. Because you are a part of me. And I am a part of you. I love you all. And I wish you only health. See you next time.